Renning turns, here's the pitch, ground ball, past Nelson, base hit. Whitaker's coming. The throw will be late. The Barnstormers win.
Hello and welcome to the last Stormers on Deck episode of the summer. I'm your host, Chad Landers. Brian Cass will join us in just a bit. We've had so much fun hanging out with members of the Lancaster Barnstormer this summer. Hope you've enjoyed the ride along with us. Before we get to our final trio of Barnstormers, let's get to our trivia question of the week. Here it is. In their 13-year history, what is the longest Barnstormer winning streak? It is actually more recent than you may think. We'll have the answer for you a little bit later in the show, so good luck with that. All right, time to get into the show. We'll talk to our first Lancaster Barnstormer after the break, so stay with us.
All right, welcome back to Stormers on Deck. We are here, Trayvon Robinson, one of the few Barnstormers that have been here the entire season. You guys have lost a lot. Trayvon, thanks for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
So you have to talk to us. I mean, you guys, two different teams this year. The one that started the year, you got a bunch of guys get signed, and now you guys have morphed into a different team. Still winning though. What's it? How have you guys been able to do this?
I don't know. I think we just go out there and just play the game. You know, it's a lot of experience in there. You know, we feed off one each other, and we just try to keep. You know, that's our whole goal. Our whole goal here is to get everybody to get back somewhere. Yeah. You know, when somebody leaves, and I don't know, it just brings another notch. You know, for our game to go out there and just be the same guy, you know, or get picked up. But it doesn't really change the chemistry. Yeah, it looks weird on paper that oh, this guy's gone, this guy's gone. It's like, oh, we got a lot of experience in there, so we just deal with it and play. In AAA, it's even worse.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you're going. Somebody's gone every series, so you know, it's pretty cool. You know, we're used to it.
Yeah. Well, you guys certainly seem to have a lot of chemistry, a lot of likable guys on the team. Good clubhouse. We've heard from a lot of guys. Is that your sort of what you see? And you guys are a really close team.
Yeah, we're pretty loose in there. Anything goes. Kind of weird. Yeah. But nah, anything goes in there. You know, it's a lot of guys, a lot of experience. We share times when we're in the big leagues. Share times we're in AAA. Hey, you remember this guy? You know, everybody knows each other, man. It's like a real small community. Either you played against the guy, or you fought the guy, you hit the guy, or you know, some way somehow you met the guy before. You know, yeah.
Certainly, your big league experience with the Mariners. You had quite a few games. And I think I read you robbed Torrey Hunter of a home run.
Got him.
Was it your debut?
It was my debut.
All right, tell us all about that.
Well, Leaguer, actually, Brandon League, he was on my on the team. He's one of the bullpen guys over there with New Britain. Yeah. And I remember what Leaguer told me, he was like, "Oh man, you're gonna be on Web Gym today, man. You're gonna be a top 10." I'm just like, okay. Kind of just thinking that I was just so nervous, man. And you know, Torrey, you know, he gave me he said, "Hey man, I see your stats and stuff, man. Good job to, like, you know, make it to the big leagues. Congratulations." And what I was like, okay, thanks, man. Like, people are actually cool up here, like real cool. But I knew he was going to be. His personality is awesome, man. Yeah. And I felt bad after I did it, man. I just put my head down the whole time. I had to run past that guy. That guy's kind of big, man. He's like 6'2", 6'3", man. So yeah, man. People don't know, like, my baseball card, my face is actually in the guy's armpit when I robbed the home run.
Really?
Yeah. But that time, man, when I didn't think I was going to get to the ball because they had us shaded so far. It had me shaded so far to left center field. And I just seen the ball go in the air. I just ran. I don't know. I just caught it, and I remember, you know, feeling my glove a little bit, and I was like, oh, I caught the ball. This is cool. It's Friday too. I caught the ball. You know, it was fun, but I had to put my head down walking past him, man. Nice. And people don't know, the next at bat, he actually hit a bullet over my head I couldn't catch. So he probably he was like, yeah, I got more experience than you, so I'm gonna hit this ball harder. You know, nice. It was fun.
Hey, a heck of a memory there.
Yeah, I remember that till the day I die.
Also, an interesting thing is that you and Josh Bell, who's the hitting coach right now for the Barnstormers, was an all-star for them last year. Yeah. Very close, played a lot in the minors together, and certainly he was a factor in you coming to the Atlantic League in the first place. Yeah. Talk about your relationship with Coach Bell now.
Yeah, Mr. Bell, man. Yeah. Me and Bell got drafted together, man. He was a 4th round pick, I was a 10th round pick. He's a year older than me, but I mean, it was still the same, like, you know, draft class and whatnot. You know, I don't know, man. It was just like my brother, man. Yeah, like my brother. We kind of just came immediately close, like, you know, just that one season, you know, and hung out together, stayed in contact with one another throughout the whole offseason. And we ended up rooming together and whatnot. And, you know, I started switching in 2006. He went to the Pioneer League. You know, people don't know how crazy that was, me learning how to switch it, not doing anything left-handed. Then we met up in 2007. We roomed together again. 2008, we roomed together again. He had knee surgery. He left me. Man, in 2009, he ended up getting traded. Man, that sucked, man. Yeah. When he got traded, that sucked so much. But I was happy for him the next year he was in the big leagues. But we always stayed in contact. Now we stay 15 minutes from each other. My wives and his wife, my wife are close. We're their friends, good friends. I'm like uncle to his kids, so it's you know, I'm like that one guy that always comes over and like, hey, can I get some sugar? Like, you know, but I'm 15 minutes.
Invite yourself over.
Yeah, always, man. But you know, I don't really consider him like a teammate, man. He's like my brother, man. Yeah. You know, we're not even serious. Not one bit of the day we see each other. Yeah. Everything's sarcastic.
That's great.
Yeah, it's not serious at all.
It's great to see him coaching here this year. And the interesting thing
for you guys though, I mean, for me, it's kind of like
another cage session with Coach Bell, right? So he came in the game in New York, I think his first at bat of the season. Yeah. He hits that home run. What is that dugout like? What?
I don't know. I got kicked out the game that day.
Oh, you were out?
Yeah. We got into bench clearing and somebody wanted to throw some hands and I threw some hands and you know, I don't know.
Cool for him though. Cool moment for him.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I actually ran out from the locker room to the field and started cheering.
Yeah.
Then I ran back inside because I didn't want to get in trouble. You know? But yeah, that's awesome. To me, I mean, yeah, he hit a home run. So what? I seen it. It's not even the first home run they ever seen hit.
That's true.
You know, for me, I've seen him hit some bombs before, so it's nothing to me. But that was awesome.
We thought that was great. So talk to us now, second half of the season, you guys still have that looming game with Southern Maryland for the playoff spot, but you guys are in first place. You've won like 13 of 17, something like that, 12 of 16 at the moment. What are you looking forward to here in the second half?
Just keep playing the game. Just keep playing. You know, we all individually have goals, like, you know, to get out of here. Yeah. But we got to play the game. That's what it comes down to. You know, we show up every day and we see the lineup and, you know, kind of mingle in the locker room. When we get to step on the field, it's business. You know, we gotta do our thing, and you know, I don't know. They might push the game back even further. I don't know.
That's true.
You know, they keep moving the game back. It's like, oh well, I guess we're not gonna have this game this week. You know, but we're all prepared for that game. You know, I mean, we're prepared for tonight. So I mean, that's how we. It's a lot of experience in there. We're just trying to, you know, feed off on each other, and just preparation is key. You know?
Great stuff. Cool. And finally, we were talking earlier off the field. Yeah. Your hobbies, your interests. You're a car guy.
Yeah. I like old school cars, man. Yeah. I'm fascinated with cars, man. It's awesome, man. A lot of things what they're doing now, the cars, they drive themselves, and I mean, that's cool and stuff like that. But you know, I like the older cars, man. Yeah. I'm obsessed with like the muscle car area, man.
Are you mechanically sound? Like, can you repair stuff? Can you change your own oil? Can you do that stuff?
Change my oil. I can change my own. But actually, funny story. I got one.
Go.
Hey, Albuquerque, 2011. Before I got traded, I changed my own brakes in the parking lot. It took me a day, but I changed my own brakes in the parking lot.
How did you realize your brakes are out? That's the
squeaking, a little grinding, and I was like, oh, that's not good. This is an older car. I'm in AAA. I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna make the big leagues in the next 2 years or something like that. So let me just try to like figure something out here. You know, the money I'm making in AAA. Well, let me brainstorm. I like cars, so let me try to, you know, fix my own stuff. Yeah. So I ended up doing it. It was cool. But it kind of scared me because I didn't know how to bleed my own brakes.
Right.
That was scary.
I just hopped on.
Yeah, fell.
No brakes on the driveway.
Right in the back of that Swift truck, you know. So I ended up bleeding my brakes on myself, and I was just like, you know what? I need to go home. So first time I tested the car was on the highway. So luckily I did it right. So I'm all right, physically like sound with cars and stuff like that.
Well, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad it worked.
Yeah.
We're certainly glad you're here with us. No. And hey, Trayvon, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it.
And that's Trayvon Robinson, everybody. We'll be right back here on Stormers on Deck. All right, welcome back to Stormers on Deck. We are here with Garrett Weber, one of the Barnstormers who has been around the whole time here. Garrett, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, so talk to us. I mean, it's a totally different team from the beginning of the year to now. How have you guys been able to transition into still winning games?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the year we were rock solid. We had a lot of good guys, and everything that I had heard from playing independent ball is, this is how you have to deal with the season. Is guys leave, and your team, most of the time will probably get worse when your top guys leave from the beginning of the season. You just got to roll with the punches, and I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far. And bullpen guys stepping up, and starting pitchers stepping in, and guys filling new roles and stuff in the infield and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's been tough, but we've been managing it pretty well. Yeah, you had your chance to crack that lineup, and you had that stretch where you were just hitting everything. I think 3-homer game in there. Yeah. What was that like to come in and finally, now you're an everyday player now? Was it much different for you? Yeah, it's different in a sense just because in affiliated ball, I was never an everyday guy. I was always, 4 or 5 days a week maybe, sometimes even like 3 days a week. And there was a stretch in like 14 where there was a couple months where I played every day, but that's about the only taste of everyday playing I've gotten. And so, it's nice to jump into that role and kind of just know you're playing, and even if you have a bad night, you're going to come back and play the next night. You're not going to sit. And that's kind of how it usually is with guys that aren't everyday guys. So, that's a nice, refreshing feeling, and so yeah. Yeah, it's been great. And you're able to play a lot of positions as well. All the infield spots, is that, and some outfield? Yeah, I mean, I can play anywhere in the infield. Just throughout my career, I've played everywhere, really. I've, all over the infield and pretty much just left field when it comes to the outfield. So yeah, I mean, move around anywhere. Yeah, is it tough to switch? Or like, how often are you shifting around? The only tough part about switching is just if you haven't practiced there a lot, it's very, it can become uncomfortable. A lot of times coaches will ask me where I like playing the best. I'm just like, wherever I'm playing the most, really, because if I'm playing second every day for 2 weeks, I'm going to feel way better there than third base, and vice versa. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. What is it about this team? You guys seem very loose. You seem to get along. A lot of team chemistry. Is that fair to say that you guys are, you roll with these punches and guys leaving? And well, you got to find ways to have fun when it's this long of a season. You're with the same group of guys day in and day out for 5 months straight. You got to find ways to have fun and get along and stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be chaotic. And so we're pretty good. We're pretty good at that. There's the different groups of guys that are good buddies and stuff. But on the field, we all get along, and it's all fun and games. And that's how you got to do it. You can't really take anything too seriously in this game because it'll drive you nuts. Yeah, absolutely. It is a game. And how has it been playing for all the first-year coaches? I know, Ross and Josh and Scott. It's it's their first time ever being in managerial positions there. How's that been, and sort of learning with them? I mean, not being here last year, so I don't. To me, they could have been here for 5 years prior. I don't really know them in another role, so I'm not sure I can attest to that as well. But they're doing a great job. We're still 1 game away from making the playoffs. Whenever we're gonna play that game, I have no clue. Last day of the season. That's what Trayvon said. Yeah, apparently. And so, we've had a good year so far. Obviously the ups and downs, but I think more ups. So that's definitely a positive thing. It's been great. So let's get to know you a little bit off the field. You told me earlier you're a golfer. Yeah. Any favorite courses around? What's your favorite course that you found? Royal Manchester in York. That's a really good one. And then my roommate RJ Hively kind of has a hookup at Stonewall. That's a really fun course to play. So we played that a couple times, and it's always a good time. Yeah. What do you like best about being on the course? Is it calming for you after sort of a hectic? I need to get away from baseball. I'm that type of person, and so that's one reason. But also, I just love the game of golf. I love the mental strength it takes and the strategy it takes to work yourself around the course and everything. And so I love that, and I love playing in the off season and waking up early and being on the golf course. It's just one of my passions. Yeah. Any favorite? Do you watch the professionals play? I'm a Spieth fan. Okay. I'm a big Spieth fan. I just kind of love his story. Going to college his freshman year and saying, I'm good enough. I'm leaving. And then he actually was good enough, and now he's kind of a beast. So I like watching him a lot.
Good stuff. He's really cool?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that's it, my man. We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it.
All right, and that'll do it. We'll be right back here on Stormers on Deck. Garrett Weber, everybody. All right, welcome back to Stormers on Deck. We've got a very special guest here in studio, John Witwer, one of the voices of the Barnstormers. He does the public address, he's done a lot of stuff with Blue Ridge. John, thanks for coming in, joining us.
Lots of years here at Blue Ridge Cable, Brian, and it's my pleasure to be back with you because you and I were the first team at Clipper Magazine Stadium.
That's right.
In year one of the Barnstormers.
Full disclosure, we've spent a lot of time in the press box.
Right.
I used to play the music at the Stormers, and you did all the PA.
You were the very first music guy.
That's right.
So we've come full circle.
We've watched a lot of baseball.
We did. 13 years later, here we are.
13 years. And I don't think I've even heard the story about how you first heard about the opening there and how you applied and auditioned, or what?
I'll try to kind of capsulize it a little bit. What happened was I actually sent my resume to the Barnstormers probably 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
Because
you knew the team was coming.
Because I knew they were going to be there. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to try to apply, see what happens. I kind of forgot about it. And then my good friend, who I worked in radio with for a lot of years and still am good friends with, he said, hey, did you see in the paper the Barnstormers are auditioning? I said, really, when? I said, well, I guess coming up real soon. I said, well, you know what, I think I'll give them a call because I haven't heard anything. Long story short, we had 2 different audition sites in the beginning. The first one was at McCaskey High School, and at the time, up there in press box, at the time they had sports practice going on, they had cheerleading practice, all this on the field, trying to do auditions, right? So anyway, I got past the first round, and then I was one of, I think, 5 in the second round, which then went to Franklin and Marshall about a week and a half later.
Okay.
And I was fortunate the day that our team started their existence. We were on the road the first couple weeks of the first year. I got a call from the guy in charge and said, I'd like to offer you the job. I said, I'll take it. Great.
Rest is history.
Yeah. Right. Rest is history, as they say.
What has brought you back every year? With these 13 years, what keeps you coming back, and what do you love about doing it?
First of all, baseball is my first and foremost love of sports.
Yeah.
I grew up in baseball. I started paying attention to baseball before I knew other sports existed. So baseball has always been my main love. A long time, most of the time long-suffering Phillies fan. Goes back many, many years. And of course, I started doing PA kind of stuff in high school when my kids played sports at Ephrata High School. So I did that a little bit. And of course, I started in radio in 1971. So I've been in kind of the media surrounding for a long time. And I thought, you know what? Where can you go that you can see a game every night free with one of the best seats in the house and get paid for what you're doing? So that, in a nutshell, is what it is. The love of the game. Love of the game.
You've seen a lot up there in all those years. Do
yeah.
you have a favorite memory you can share with us? Or
Well, there are
obviously those championships years.
There are actually 4. There are 4 moments in Clipper Magazine Stadium that I cherish.
Run them down.
I'll preface that by saying in the 13th year that we have now, I don't think I've missed more than 3 games a year. So I've seen mostly all of them. Yeah, seen mostly all of them. The first one, of course, and not necessarily in this order, but the first one had to be opening night of the inaugural season, of which you were a part of. Just the rush of seeing baseball come back to Lancaster. Just because I grew as a kid, I watched the Red Roses play. So I knew what it was to have local baseball in Lancaster. That was fantastic. Packed house, it was great. The All-Star game, the first All-Star game we hosted. Now, we hosted another one last year.
Correct.
Which was good. The very first one we hosted was our 3rd year of existence.
I remember that.
Remember that?
I think there was like a big slab of roast beef that I enjoyed a lot.
Right, yeah.
They fed us good back
then.
Yeah.
It was the first time I got a chance to meet Dan Baker, the public address announcer of the Phillies. And I had a long chat with Dan. And Dan's been my idol for a long time. He sort of set the stage for what I do now.
Sure.
Everybody kind of patterns themselves after somebody with their own inflation, so to speak, or their own interpretation. And Dan's that guy for me. So that was really a highlight as well. And I'll tell you what, the final game of the first championship season.
Yeah.
With the hankies waving, everybody, Danny Harriger on the mound.
The red alert.
Right, the red alert.
Or code red.
Struck out the last man of the game. It was our first championship. I mean, unless you experience that, you can't imagine what kind of excitement that is. The second championship that we had back in 2014 was great, but it wasn't in that category. A, it wasn't the first one.
Right.
And B, nobody saw it coming. It was the 12th inning of the last game. It was raining. It was like 12:30 in the morning. Extra innings.
Yep.
There's 50 people there maybe.
Yeah.
And a walk-off home run to win.
Yeah.
That was great too. Those would be my four moments that are really exciting.
And finally, I was going to ask you, any favorite players throughout the years? Anybody? I know for me, Darian Sanford earlier this year was great to watch. For you, anybody that's really stood out over all these years?
Well, I don't know if he's a favorite player, but the guy that really stood out to me is Ryan Miner, and he goes way back to the beginning.
Slugger.
Slugger. Not a lot of big numbers for the team or anything, but it always stuck with my mind. Ryan Miner is the guy that replaced Cal Ripken when his streak ended for the Baltimore Orioles.
Wow.
And he was playing in Lancaster. That was kind of cool.
That's some baseball
I'll tell you,
right there.
we've had some players come through town, not necessarily Lancaster players, but players in the league. It's a great league. If you haven't seen this competition, you got to come out because it's great competition. It's major league level competition.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of former major leaguers in the league. But one of the craziest guys for about 2 years in the league, I think he was with Long Island, was John the Count Montefusco, former San Francisco Giant pitcher. That guy was crazy. Sparky Lyle was in the league for a while as a manager. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there's been many, too many to name really.
Lots of characters.
Absolutely.
All right,
absolutely.
John. Well, thanks for coming in. Great
My pleasure,
work
Brian.
as always. And
wonderful to work with you again.
Good luck the
You
rest
bet.
of the way.
Thank you.
I know. We'll
Very
have to
good.
do it again
Come on
sometime.
out and see us.
All right. That'll do it. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back. That'll do it for another summer of Stormers on Deck. But before we go, one last order of business. The answer to our trivia question from earlier in the show. We asked you if you knew what the Barnstormers' record was for longest winning streak in a season. And it was only a few years ago. Yeah, in 2014, a championship year for Lancaster. The team playing well from August 21st to August 31st. And I remember that well as Blake Galen returned to the team at a perfect time. So that will do it for the season finale of Stormers on Deck. Thanks for tuning in all summer long. And until next year, I'm Chad Landers. We'll see you at the ballpark.